Alright, hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is of course another anime review. Today, we are getting into the first Noragami OVA. This was technically, as far as I know, released before the second OVA, but for some reason, we're watching this after watching the second OVA, which is weird, I don't get it, but I am really excited to see what's going on in this OVA. For one reason, I'm hoping to see if there's any hints as to why we're supposed to watch the second one first, because the second one acted as basically an epilogue episode of sorts for the Bishamon arc in season 2, which was awesome. I loved that. But for some reason, this one's just kind of like, again, it comes before, or it comes after the second OVA, which is so weird. But I mean, whatever it is, I'm super excited to see what happens. I think I might have read somewhere that it adapts chapter 25. Don't take my word for it. I don't fucking know. But either way, again, super interesting to see what happens to this, especially to see how it'll tie in to, you know, the rest of the series. Mostly because, as from what I had read online, this isn't something you were supposed to skip. So I imagine if this is gonna have some like build up to what's gonna happen in the second half of the second season, that would be pretty cool. Because technically not necessary, but the second OVA did come after the first half of the second season, and served as like a comedic epilogue. But again, not technically necessary. But either way, I'm just rambling. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. But as always, links down in the description below. Tether Pixel Drain and BitChute will take you to the full-length uncut reaction. As I'm recording this, I can't remember if I remembered to say that during the intro of the Gintama episode 112 reaction. I can't remember, but whatever. But those links will be in the description, as always. So go ahead, follow one of those links, then come back to YouTube for the discussion. Without further ado, let's get started with Noragami OVA 1. Good episode. Good episode. Even though I can kind of understand why some people probably don't like a lot of OVAs. Oh, did I not? Oh, whatever. I didn't switch. Whatever, it's fine. I can kind of understand why people don't really care for OVAs. I think this has a lower average score than the first season, the regular first season does on like My Anime List or something. But I still really enjoy things like these, even though it was basically just all comedy and unlike the second one, this one basically had nothing to do, well, basically, literally nothing to do with the rest of the series. It was completely disconnected. But I thought it was really funny, so I liked it a lot. If I had to give the two OVAs for the first season a score, then I think I kind of like, I kind of have to put it like at least a point below. I give it a 7 because it was a lot of fun, and the first episode again, or the first OVA, which we just watched, obviously, was not very substantial in terms of content, but it was such a fun little thing. It won't matter in the long run, but it was just so much fun that I can't help but like enjoy it. You know what I mean? There isn't really much to say because it was basically just all comedy the whole time. But even still, I'm super glad I watched it. I don't know. I just feel like when it comes to like, if it makes me laugh, I'm a lot more like easygoing on it. You know what I mean? Because I'm sure a lot of or at least some people will be like, it's nowhere near as good as the actual main series, and to a degree, I think I could agree. But even still, it's absolutely worth watching. It's so much fun, you know. God, I wasn't expecting them to introduce divine possession as like a concept for the sole reason that we've never seen it before. But for the fact that it was basically just used for comedy only, it has me wondering when exactly it's going to be used in the future, because it could be a case of where they introduce a legitimately like new piece of like lore and information that us as viewers need to know going forward with the series, because it's like a concept that's going to be brought up later on. But at the same time, it was basically all comedy, and like I could see them potentially using it in the future. And like I think the thing to remember would be that when Yato is possessing Hiyori, there's a little crown on his head. Because the only like situation I can think of off the top of my head that they might use that is like they were trying to like deceive a villain or something. Like, oh, you thought I was like the villain needs Hiyori specifically for something, like Hiyori's spirit, but it's Yato controlling the body and Hiyori's spirit is somewhere else type thing. But it would be interesting to see what kind of things they could do with that in the future. like if at all, because I think they were mentioning with the way it works is that it's working with Hiyori because it was maybe it's harder for gods to possess humans, but they were saying it was easy specifically for Hiyori because she spends a lot of time with phantoms and she's not exactly technically fully human herself. She's like becomes a phantom every now and then, type thing. But that alongside of bringing up I forget what the name was, but the Council of Gods, Takamagahara. Say that 5 times fast. Bringing up this character Takamahara, Takamagahara. I don't know exactly what that is, but it sounds like it's either a person or like maybe like a group or something. But then the Council of Gods, that sounds like a legitimate like serious bit of lore that we need to know about going forward in the future, because that sounds like something that's going to be like brought up in the future, you know what I mean? Let's see. There it is. The first OVA is bundled in the 10th volume, adapts the 25th chapter. So this is real. This happened in the manga. Interesting. Because it kind of did have a feeling of like just like being completely separated from everything else in the story, at least where the second season after episode 6 left off. So it's interesting how it's legitimately a piece of manga that was adapted. And the fact they're doing it in OVA was kind of weird too, but then the second one was bundled with the 11th volume and adapts the Cherry Blossom viewing arc. That to me implies that that this is necessary to watch, and if you missed it, that's kind of like you're missing out on a big thing. But I could be wrong. It's such a weird situation, but either way, great episode. I can't wait to see what kind of things, like the things that are set up in this episode, even though mostly comedy, again, there was some bits here and there. I seemed a bit more serious, like they were setting up things in the future. So I'm very, very, very curious to see what kind of things they'll be doing in the future. Like what kind of like concepts that are set up in this episode will be potentially referenced in the future. That's going to be really exciting. But that's pretty much all I had to say about this episode. If you watched all of this point, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single upload in the future. Thank you once again for watching. Peace.